Hi there, I'm Reese Wright, and today I will be giving a tutorial on how to make use of all the writing features that RoyalRoad gives. For those who do not know, RoyalRoad is a free online platform that you can use to publish and read web novels. So to start with, you're going to press this right button here right at the top tab. Then you're going to press this Add New. You'll see right at the top here, this is just a quick warning that anything that you try to publish will first be scanned over by professional editors of RoyalRoad to make sure that there's no kinds of plagiarism or other intellectual theft going on. This process can take up to 24 hours, but in my experience, it usually takes right around 12. You can also choose a cover picture for your fiction. This picture needs to be at least 400 by 600 pixels, but there is no maximum resolution. And similar to the contents of the fiction, this picture will also be looked over to make sure it's not infringing any kinds of copyright. So keep that in mind when choosing. Now the first thing you're going to do is just put a title. For the sake of this, I'm just going to title it as tutorial. And the synopsis is just a quick 1 to 2 paragraphs about what the book is about and what the audience should expect going into it, be it the themes, tone of the book, or anything of that nature. I'm just going to write tutorialness. There is no minimum word count, and you can see right here in the bottom it will automatically keep track of all of your total word count in this box. You'll see these buttons up here, but I will be skipping over those for now, and I will be going them in more depth later when I get to the actual writing segment of this tutorial. You can also select the genres of your book. Now it does say select up to 4 here, but as you can see, it doesn't actually stop you from clicking more, so just select whichever ones you feel that your fiction encompasses. You can also choose tags. Tags are essentially just tropes. So like, is the lead an anti-hero? Does it take place in a cyberpunk? And if you're unsure about any genres or tags, all of them have this question mark next to them, which hovering your mouse over will tell you what they entail. So just try to choose as many of these as you think fit, because speaking as a reader, it's a lot better when you actually know what you're going into as opposed to ones that only have 2 or 3 selected. You can also put a content warning at the front of your fiction. This is useful so that your fiction doesn't get taken down, because it will get taken down if you violate any of these without having the proper warning beforehand. So if you believe your fiction has a good chance of going into any of these, even if not immediately, it's best to just click the box now, as there is no punishment for not meeting these tags. The last box here is if what you're writing is a fan fiction or an original. So a fan fiction, for those who don't know, is just any book making use of or taking place in other people's copyrighted works. For instance, if you're writing a story about, say, life in Dragon Ball Z, then you would have to click this box. This marks it as being a not-for-profit, as RoyalRoad adds a feature that allows you to link your Patreon to the fiction itself so that people can go to donate you to help to buy you coffee, so you can make writing into an actual career off of web novel itself. On to the actual writing bit. What you start with is just the title of the chapter. I'm just going to put chapter 1. Normally there is a minimum character limit for these chapters, but for the sake of first chapters, this limit is not in place. On to the actual writing. You'll see this small box here. And for those who think this box is too small and want to look at it better, you can press this button here to go into full screen, to take up your entire screen. Also, you'll notice next to the full screen is this button here. This brings up the source code of the page. So if RoyalRoad does something cool that you want to know how, you can just click this. You'll notice it's currently blank, but if I type, say, hello world, and then just click save here, because it adds it right here. I can also just type normally. The only reason it's appeared there as normal words is because there was no code preceding it. A good example of actual coding that RoyalRoad has implemented to help is one of my favorite features, the table. One of my favorite genres is lit RPG, and those make use of a lot of tables. And RoyalRoad lets you make one inside of the writing tool itself, so you don't have to go out, make it somewhere else, take a picture, and then insert it. And the table function is fairly intuitive, but it does have a few hidden tricks. So to start with, I'm just going to make a quick 4x4 table. Now, note that while it only goes up to 10 by 10 here, you can add more and less rows later on, so you're not actually limited to 10 by 10. So making this 4 by 4, you see it's evenly distributed 4 blue ones, but the combination, if you just have the table highlighted, click this drop down and go to table properties, you can change things like the width, the height, spacing, padding, all of that stuff. And in advance, you can also change things like the border or background color. So say if you prefer the color purple, you can change it there, and you can also, if you have a specific color in mind, use the hexacode for it. And then just press save, and now it's purple. You can do this to, say, if you want the table to give off a different feel than previous ones, or if you just prefer the color purple. And then you can just right there, this here will change the text color, so you can make it red, you can make it blue, any color you want. For actual manipulation of the table itself, that's also fairly easy. So you'll notice that each 4 here are equally segmented, but hovering your mouse over here, you can change where the lines are drawn, so you can change how long each one are. So you can make it so that 3 are very short and 1 is very long, or however long you want. This is good in the case of multiple words. So if I just write highest of all, it's 3 words that all fit there. But if I condense it, it'll cut off the words. It should be noted, however, you can't shrink it past the first word in it, so there is a minimum size. For more control, too, if you say I want there to only, say I want to merge these 2 cells, that's easy. I just click, drag, highlight both of them, and press Cell, Merge Cells. Or say I want more. Once again, you go to Cell, Split. And you can do that in cells that haven't previously been merged to add more lines onto one particular portion. You can also, with these buttons here, insert more rows, more columns, delete columns, or just open the table properties directly. You can also just delete the whole thing. Another useful feature that this has is this button here. What this button does is it inserts just a line right here. This is useful for like any kinds of lore, or if you need to separate, say, speaking, reading, or just any kind of separate thing. The last thing I will be going over, and perhaps one of the most useful, is this button here. This is a spoiler. So by clicking this, it opens up this box here. Anything typed in here will be hidden from the reader, and they can only see it if they click on a drop-down menu that'll appear. So how this will look from an actual reader's perspective is in big bold letters, it'll say the word spoiler and then have a little plus icon next to it. On pressing the plus, it'll expand so they can read the spoiler. Now while it is called the spoiler button and the spoiler menu, it's actually used, it can be used in a lot of other features as well. Namely, if you have information that isn't technically vital and is very space consuming, such as extra tables or lore blurbs or anything of that nature, you can put it behind a spoiler tag so that it doesn't clog up your screen and make you have to scroll for 20 years. Or you can use it to hide things, to add, say, an onomatopoeia that would ruin a twist or something. You can hide it behind a spoiler so they actually have to get to that part in the book before they can see it. Now, there are other features they have, but most are very intuitive, and for the sake of a simple tutorial, I believe this is enough to get you started on your writing journey. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.